What is up, guys? You are listening to The Campaign Grind. I'm Pedro Diaz. I'm your host. If this is your first time listening, welcome. This podcast is for everybody. Doesn't matter if you're running for office, aspiring to run for office, or even if you don't care about running for office. This podcast is for everyone. If you have the mentality to kick ass, take no prisoners in everything you do, and achieve greatness, welcome to The Campaign Grind. Today we're here accompanied by Mark. He is our podcast producer. What's going on, Mark?
Not much. How's everything going?
Everything's good, man. Like always, ladies and gentlemen, you could call in or text in. The phone number is 305-860-1010. Once again, 305-860-1010. Ask us anything you want from the previous episodes, anything from this episode, anything you want to ask. Just text us or call us, 305-860-1010. All right, so today's episode, we're going to be touching on two different topics. I received a lot of calls, emails, messages on Facebook and Instagram from people asking and wanting to know more about me, how I got involved in campaigns and elections, how I became who I am today. And the second topic is basically deciding to run for office. This is no easy task. This takes a lot of time. You got to speak to your spouse. You got to speak to your family. Make sure that everybody's on board because believe me, I've been there. I've done that. It is not an easy road, especially if you got to do it alone. All right, let's jump into topic number one, Pedro Diaz. Who is he? The man, the myth, the legend. Just kidding, guys. That's me. I am your host, and this is The Campaign Grind. To keep things short, sweet, and simple, I started a marketing and advertising company with my girlfriend at the time, immediately after I graduated from high school. It went great. We were doing a whole bunch of advertising, printing, design work, and whatnot for small mom and pop businesses. That was phenomenal. I've always been involved in politics, believe it or not. My dad actually ran for political office. He ran for commissioner in the city of Miami way back when. I was actually a young buck. I was in middle school. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't remember how old I was. I don't remember what grade I was in. But I do remember walking door to door with him, holding up signs and meeting voters and basically trying to get elected, man. Fast forward to 2009, I ran for commissioner, city of Miami commissioner. It was a completely different seat. It was a great experience. It was, man, that was a ride. I'm not going to lie. It was a ride. It was great. You get to see and meet many different peoples, many different characters, to be quite frank with you. And one of the things I remember, actually, this was actually one of the reasons why I am where I am today. When I was running for office, I was solicited by a whole bunch of other consultants, a whole bunch of other people wanting to get involved in my campaign. Unfortunately, I didn't have the money, so I couldn't hire everybody. I would have loved to have hired everybody, but I couldn't. So to be nice, because that's the type of person I am. I'm not a dick. I'm not an ass. I treat everybody with respect. That's how I was raised. And so I would meet with everybody, and I would, simply and gently put them down, say, listen, I don't got the money, because I really didn't. I would have loved to have hired them, but I didn't have the money. But there was this one guy I would never forget. I'm not going to mention his name because there's not many people in this business that do what we do. So I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, to be quite frank with you. So I met with this gentleman, and he was basically trying to sell me on different printing, design, and whatnot. And I was asking him because, given my history with this type of business, I knew what the prices were, I knew what the products were, and I knew what they would go for. So I was asking him, is there anything different from what you're offering me than what I was offering my small business clients? And he was basically telling me no. So he was charging me $500 for some signs and some printing, and I forgot exactly what it was. And then when I got back to the office, to our office, my marketing out, my campaign headquarters office actually, which was my business office, which then was converted to our campaign office, because I was, in it to win it. I was in this campaign to win, and so was my wife. And so we kind of neglected the business. So as soon as I get back into the office, I speak to my wife. I show her the proposal, and she looks at me. She's like, this is just crazy. And we look up at our prices, and we see that this is the same exact product that we're able to sell our clients, our small business clients, for a fraction of the cost. And that is when it clicked. And that is when, and like I said, this is one of the reasons why I am here today. And it clicked. This was his niche. This is the reason why he was able to charge these prices, because there weren't that many people doing this. Not many people work in this business, and chances are everybody knows everybody. So fast forward to election day, I lost. I got my ass kicked. There were 7 candidates. We did a great job. We did what we could have with what we had. We had family. It was a great experience. But I would never forget election night. It was around 7:30, close to 8 o'clock. We had family, friends in my victory party, or what was supposed to be a victory party. Everybody was sunburnt. Everybody looked like lobsters. Everybody was red. They were wearing their yellow Vote for Pedro shirts. It was phenomenal, man. And it was just exhaustion. Exhaustion because they've been out since 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night campaigning for me. And all of that work that we did for 9 months, 10 months, the prior to election day, all gone down the drain. Not down the drain, but we lost. It sucked. It was a horrible feeling. So since I did devote all my time in the campaign and neglected my business, my clients went elsewhere. So I didn't know where to go. And then that's when I remembered this particular guy. He got involved in campaigns. He was doing printing for campaigns. So that's what I started doing. I started doing printing for campaigns immediately after my election. So 2009, I started getting into elections, doing the printing, websites, designs, mailing, etc. But it got to a point that I just didn't want to be known as Pedro the Printer anymore. So what did I do? I decided to get more involved in campaigns. I started reaching out to different clients, different candidates that were crazy enough to allow me to run their campaign. Yeah, crazy enough, because back then I didn't know what I know now. And if I would have done what I know now, I believe that the outcome would have been different in those elections. So we were doing the printing, we were doing the designing, that was great. But I didn't want to be known as Pedro the Printer. I wanted more. I was not satisfied. That's when I started strategizing and managing campaigns and running campaigns by myself. And man, oh man, was that great. It was phenomenal. We were kicking ass in election day. We were kicking ass in early voting. But we were always losing these absentee ballots. I didn't know how to win these absentee ballots, and that sucked. That frustrated me. So what happened? I started studying this game. I started studying the process. And to be quite frank with you, we've been hustling, we've been grinding, and we've been dominating elections since 2012, getting underdogs and long shot candidates elected. This is one of the reasons why I decided to make this Campaign Grind podcast, to let you guys know the nitty-gritty, the in-depth details that nobody tells you prior to running for office. I want to help you guys succeed. You don't need to spend excess money on nonsense. All right, so while I was actually rambling, we did receive a couple messages of questions, actually, from text and through, what was it?
Instagram.
All right, so we got messages from Instagram and text message. Guys, if you have any questions, 305-860-1010. You could call, you could text, you could Instagram your message, you could Facebook your message, you could tweet your message, or you could even email me. It's pedro@diazcampaigns.com. Mark, what's the first question? What do we got?
First one comes from Jeremy, and he asks, how did it feel to lose?
Dude, seriously? Thanks, Jeremy. Well, losing, it sucked, man. To be honest with you, it sucked. Like I said before, at my victory party, or, just a party that we had, just congratulating the volunteers and the workers, it sucked. Everybody was tired. Everybody was burnt. They were burnt out. We've been campaigning for such a long time. And in reality, it seems like it's a long time. You start campaigning 9 months before the election. You start campaigning 6 months, 4 months, 3 months. And it sounds like a long time. But when it comes down to election time, it's just so quick, man. And then once, especially down here when the polls close at 7 o'clock, 6:30, 6:45, you start looking at the clock and it kind of starts sinking in. And you start realizing, could I have done this or could I have done that? But to answer your question, Jeremy, it sucked. It was not a good feeling. Do I think I could have done things differently? Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Knowing what I know now, would the outcome be different? Absolutely, brother. What else we got?
Second one comes from Nicole, and she asks, is there a difference between the products and services you are offering your marketing company clients than the products and services necessary for a political campaign? It's a long one.
Nicole, let me read this question again. So Nicole asks, is there a difference between the products and services you were offering your marketing company clients than the products and services necessary for a political campaign? Nicole, that's actually a great question, because I've come across a lot of people that say, listen, dude, I checked out your podcast. It's great, but I don't know how I could put it into use. I actually run a business. To answer your question, Nicole, no. There is no difference. At the end of the day, a candidate is just like a brand. It's just like a business. A candidate is just like McDonald's, a Starbucks, a Burger King, a Dunkin' Donuts. They are a brand. It is our job as a consultant to market that candidate and package that candidate accordingly. So the different services, the products that we were offering our small mom and pop businesses are pretty much the same exact products. We're just targeting different people. Businesses are targeting buyers. In campaigns, we're targeting voters. So we need to make sure that our candidates play the part, they're packaged correctly, they know what to say, when to say it, and who to say it, and basically get things done and make sure that they appeal to the actual voters. So do we got anything else, Mark?
Actually, yeah, one more. Jennifer asks, how much is it to become a candidate?
All right, Jennifer, that's actually a good question. It's basically, usually it's about 1% of the salary of the position you're running for. There's some places that actually allow you to collect signatures in order to qualify as a candidate. And I do encourage all of our candidates, whether they're going to pay the qualifying fee or they're going to qualify by petition, I do encourage all of our candidates to qualify by petition if they can. The reason we like doing that is because you're already establishing a rapport with the actual voter. So you're going to be getting these signatures from somebody. I'm going to go and knock on Mark's door and say, hey, Mark, I'm running for office. Can you sign my petition so I could qualify as a candidate? And Mark's going to say, okay, yeah, great. You seem like a nice guy. He's going to sign my petition. So I've already done the hard work. I've already put my foot in the door, literally put my foot in the door with Mark. So I got down his information. Now, I'm going to be giving Mark a call. I'm going to be following up with Mark. So I do recommend qualifying by petition. So like that, you already have a nice little base before the election even starts. So I think that's about it, guys. If you have any questions, it's 305-860-1010 or Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email pedro@diazcampaigns.com. Let's jump into topic number 2. This is deciding to run for public office. Guys, this is actually one of the hardest decisions one has to make. You run for office because you want to make a difference and leave your village, town, city, state, or even nation a better place for future generations to come. The first thing I recommend is to talk to your family. You got to get your family on board because you are going to be spending long hours. You're not going to make it to your daughter's ballet recital. You're going to miss your son's baseball or soccer game because you're out there knocking on doors, campaigning, and meeting voters. The next thing you got to do is decide what position you're going to want to run for. Do a little bit of research on that particular seat. See if you have any potential opponents or if anybody that ran last time is going to want to jump in again. See how their numbers fared. See how they did in the previous elections. Next thing you want to do is look at the turnout. How many people came out to vote last time that seat or that position went up for election? Also the demographics. You cannot change the demographics of a particular district, a particular seat, or a particular precinct. You can change the demographics of the seat you do decide to run for. The next thing you got to do is get your family, friends, and local leaders on board. You already did the first two, friends and family. The reason I say local leaders is because they already have the name. They already have the following. So what you're going to want is for them to basically spread that word saying John is going to be running for X, Y, and Z position. Because it's very different than your friends and family and even yourself saying, I'm running for this. No, you get a local leader, a prominent leader in the community to say that you are running for this particular position. Believe me, your name recognition and your credibility is going to skyrocket. Most importantly, you got to know that once you file your paperwork, that is public records. And if your opponent or any potential opponent or their supporters get that information, they will do whatever it takes and I say whatever it takes to discredit you and your candidacy. But I guarantee you this, if your heart is in the right place, you want to do good for your community and are okay with the negative campaigning against you and mudslinging, proceed to file your paperwork. Do not look back. Go to your clerk's office or reach out to the supervisor of elections. See what the necessary documents are to file your paperwork to officially become a candidate. And with that being said, congratulations. If all that did not deter you from running for political office, you have what it takes. And I'd like to be the first to welcome you to the campaign grind.